Welcome back to Esther's Breeze, where we sit back, chat, and shoot the breeze. So today is episode 15, and it is my 14th interview, and it is the final episode of the season. So I want to thank all of you for your support and love, and to all my incredible guests that I had this season. You were so all very entertaining and brilliant and wonderful, and I can't thank you enough. This has been an incredible season. And I can't wait for next season, which should start probably the end of August or early September. I also want to give a big shout out to PAX management, to Jenny Duhamel, and to my mentor and good friend, Mr. Robert D'Alessio, and to my partner in crime and producer, Mr. Fernando Renzo. Esther's Breeze can be found on the Esther's Breeze YouTube channel, on Bobby Short Shorts, and on the Facebook page of Esther Brzezinski. So, my guest tonight, she is the Good Witch of Hollywood. Patti Negri is a psychic medium and good witch, best known for her recurring role on the Travel Channel's #1 show, Ghost Adventures. She is the international best-selling author of Old World Magic for the Modern World: Tips, Tricks, and Techniques to Balance, Empower, and Create a Life You Love. Patti's body of work includes appearances on MasterChef and Beverly Hills Pawn, and she has graced numerous magazine covers and conducted seances on radio, film, and TV. You can listen to her Friday nights on Dash Talk 10 and now her own podcast, The Witching Hour. She is also an executive producer of Paraflex, which is a new streaming platform for the paranormal, which is kind of the Netflix of the paranormal. And I have a short clip from her show, Ghost Adventures, available on the Travel Network. I'd like you to see it.
There's an energy and it just got really cold. Patti, you've been here. They've called you for help.
Yes.
When did they call you for help, and what was your first trip here? What's going on here? Is it?
Yeah, there's something going on here. This truly is the one place I've never been able to clear.
Really?
It hides. You see it. I've captured it in pictures. I'm like, it's clear. It's not clear. It comes back.
So there is something.
There's definitely, I think the drugs and the suicides and the murders fueled everything. The attachments got, but I believe that there's some kind of a vortex through here. I've never felt anything like it. It takes me days to recover after being here. I really think this is about the darkest spirits I've ever seen, whether it's demonic or just dark spirits.
You can't make a deal with the devil.
Right.
And if the devil's here, there's no deals to be made.
Right.
Without any warning, we see Billy break away from our interview and run frantically towards the house.
What?
He's like praying.
What is he doing? Hold on.
All heavy energy forms.
Can you turn it on the speaker? Oh my God.
All humans and spirit and take them home. All intruders and mischief makers.
I don't know, guys.
Let me hear.
All living humans who try to steal my energy. All threads and bindings. All cords and ties. All chains and devices of any kind. All curses and hints of any level of common defense of self-defeating.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
In another planet, realm, or dimension. Please remove anything that has an admission to this or any other language which you know needs to leave my body at this time. Please return me to my perfect energy, please.
Devin, you okay?
There's something attached to me, though. I don't want to let go.
Do you want me to go get Patti?
No, I'm all right.
You go.
Wow, that is frightening. Let's welcome Patti Negri. Hey.
Hi. Yeah, that was a dark one you picked. Though.
Yeah, I know. I chose it purposely. That was quite something. Oh, we just lost Patti. Okay, well, she should be back. So Patti has been the host of several shows. She also has her podcast, by the way, called The Witching Hour, which is, I've listened to several episodes, and she is back. So let's bring her on. Hey.
Hi. I have no idea what happened. It just closed up It's haunted. Everything's
Yeah,
haunted.
I think it is haunted. I think there's a spirit rather that doesn't want you to be part of this interview, but let's hope that's not the case.
Not the case. We will make
No.
it work. So everything just went. Thank you, Esther. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. This is great.
Of
I'll try not to
course.
break anything else.
Yeah, please don't do that. Keep the spirits away, okay? Just if you could just hold them back for like 40 minutes, I'd appreciate it. So I want to know, when did you know, rather, that you had the gift? And how did it get into the showbiz side of things?
Well, I always knew I had the gift, literally. When I was, as long as I can remember, when I was this little toddler, I was talking to the other side. The so-called imaginary friends little kids have weren't imaginary at all. They were real beings and spirits. Literally, the guy in the closet, under the bed, almost cliche stuff was real. Wow. They're out to get me. No.
Sneezing on the truth.
Sneezing on the truth. Yeah, which I haven't sneezed in like a year and a half.
There you go. There's something happening.
So anyway, so I just thought it was normal. And I was always kind of obsessed with the other side and death, but never in a morbid or dark way. Never, honestly. So I did my first seance. I was like 7 or 8 years old. I went into my little suburban home, and in the hall where there was no windows and lights, and stuffed towels under the door, and realized I didn't know dead people. So I'm like, oh, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, everybody way back then. And it filled with lights and orbs. So I just knew, oh, this is real. And this is something we can control. So I've studied in my entire life since then, religion, science, metaphysics, occult sciences, philosophy, everything. And I take it down to what I see, which is energy. So I always have. And the showbiz side is because I'm an LA girl. And I've never tried to do this for a living. I've tried to do everything else. I was an actress. I was a dancer. My mom was a dancer. I ran a production company when I was too old for Hollywood. And in 2008, when the big crash happened, the big economic crash, and all of a sudden corporate entertainment, like I did, became a dirty word, and reality TV was taking off. People wanted me to do shows, and I'm like, no. I keep that part of myself very secret. It's a big part of myself, but it's not corporate. And they begged and begged and begged until I said, okay, well, what is it? And it was such a silly show. I thought no one would watch it. Little did I know what reality TV would become. And I did the show, and I go, oh my gosh, this is great. No, memorizing lines. I get to Mercury and retrograde affects all instruments. I know it's been a rough one. And I don't like to say that about Mercury and retrograde, because then it always becomes an excuse that you use. But sometimes it just is.
What does that mean, actually, Mercury in retrograde? What does that mean?
It's a planet going backwards. And this particular planet affects communication and technology, communication in every form of that, and technology. And it usually wreaks havoc on everybody and around. And again, that's why I usually don't like to say it, but this one has been a doozy. So whether you know what it is or you pay attention to it or not, it probably has affected you. So I don't know. And on the witchy side of things, I would also be in that same little suburban backyard, knowing if I picked certain plants out of the backyard and stuffed them in my mom's wallet, she'd have more money. And I mean, years before I studied what the different attributes to plants and herbs and things were. It's just in the blood, I guess. So again, the Hollywood thing came together because I was a Hollywood girl. And then this world just took over. I didn't have much time. I don't have much time for my production company. But it's great because I get to do what before I was, even with that company, I was all about empowering people or teaching new policy or HR policy or sales. And now I get to come into the magic of how amazing humans are. You know, it's not just like to chase ghosts on television with Zach and the guys or my new guys what I've always noticed is how amazing humans are. We are these amazing beings. And we tend to give away our power so often. We've got into this little zombie by rote automatic pilot, and giving away our power to really limiting belief systems, to other people, to fear, to self-doubt. And so that's really what I'm about, whether we're hunting ghosts or I'm teaching spell working on Zoom or, speaking to a group of college students. It's about, you're pretty awesome.
So you call yourself a good witch. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
means I'm good and I'm a witch. I don't, and I'm a
Well,
big,
duh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Wizard of Oz and Glinda the Good Witch.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, my favorite movie forever.
Yes,
And
same
I
here.
think, I mean, I don't like going white witch, black witch, because that has so
Right.
many connotations. And I am good at what I do. I only work in the light. I only do work in integrity, ethics. I
Yeah.
don't do anything to control anybody else, control anybody without their permission. But so good witch just works. Is Glenda's a good witch? Are you a good witch or a bad witch? I'm a good witch. Because I don't think you ever have to do negative magic ever, because I've gotten pretty much everything I've ever wanted with good magic. Everything from beating odds, health odds, where they told me by long before this age I would be dead or in a wheelchair, and I'm neither. And when I did that, I used my witchcraft to beat 100,000 people to get on the world's hardest obstacle course, to get on Wipeout. And I use good magic, not bad magic, not like, oh, I hope that person auditioning breaks her leg. It's like, no, I hope they do really great. What you put out is what you get back. It's karma. It's cause and effect, action and reaction. So that was so much fun to beat like 180 to 100,000 people. I'm going, okay, what am I really bad at? Okay, cooking. I got kicked out of home ec in school. Packs my house return. No, everything's messed up. So we just have to enjoy it live. So again, I'm really bad at cooking. So I tried out for MasterChef. Next thing I know, I'm cooking for Gordon Ramsey, Joe
Right.
Bastianich.
I read that. How
Yeah.
was that?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. And I kept all the months of audition. I'm going, they're going to figure out any second. I don't even know what saute means, but I totally
barely know myself.
I totally played the witch card, and I didn't stay
Right.
very long, but it was fun enough to go through the months of audition. And then a week you're sequestered in any of these competition shows. They really are. They're under all these federal laws because they're game
I didn't know
shows.
that.
So,
Okay.
so like when you're at the hotel for weeks on end, even before you're airing, you don't even have a hotel room. They take away your phone, your laptop, your tablet. You don't get to talk to family members, dogs, husbands, children, because they're afraid that you'll get information, or you'll talk to TMZ, or you'll cheat. And so it's a fun experience. So again, I didn't last very long, but it was great. And then, so I'm like, okay. And I did it all with good magic, not like, ooh, I hope that person against me burns her chicken. No, it's like, I hope she does really good. And what you put out, you get back. And then I'm like, okay, I've cooked, I've done the physical thing, both of which are wrong. What am I really, really shouldn't be on? America's Got Talent. Every country has Got Talent. And I'm like, and next thing I know, I am rolling around on the floor of the Dolby Theater with Howie Mandel, psychically reading his dog. It was a horrible comedic mess.
Hilarious.
But
That's
it was
hilarious.
exactly what I created. So you don't need to be a bad witch. You don't need to be a dark witch. You don't ever need to work in negative magic to get what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So you wrote this book, Old World Magic for the Modern World.
Yes.
So tell us about it and where we could buy this book.
You
There it
can get
is.
it. It is on my website, but you can
Okay.
get it on Amazon for every country. It's a bestseller like in 5 countries.
Wow.
And that's because I spent more time unwriting it. I wrote this book because I work with clients every day.
Right.
And what I notice is like I said, we are so disconnected. We are so away from our natural instinct and intuition. And I'm always in a hurry because so it's like, yes, it's great to meditate for an hour, but I have 30 seconds to pull it together. So I came up with all these techniques working basically off psychology, left brain stuff, and then right brain, intuitive, spiritual stuff, and put them all together in this little handy, there's a section on weight loss. There's a section on finding love. There's a section on how to talk to the dead. There's a section on how basic spell working. It's just like how to keep your house clear, how to keep yourself protected from everything from energy vampires and all that. And once I wrote it, I go, too many words. Because when I started decades and decades ago, I would buy these big, beautiful books that were either boring or complicated or just overwhelming, and they'd sit on the shelf and look really pretty. I'd buy some simple little paperback with this, and I would devour it, and I'd learn so much more. So that's exactly what I wanted to write. So I unwrote it, and it's doing really well. So anybody, you don't have to be into metaphysics or spirituality or witchcraft. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be anything. It's day-to-day stuff. So yeah, Amazon or my website, pattynegri.com.
Okay, amazing. I can't wait to order it myself. So in the little video clip, you were doing a house clearing. Is that what you call it? A house clearing?
In the one that you saw, no, when I'm house clearing, I got a big broom in my hand and
that's
incense.
okay. Yes, the same one, which I have on my Facebook page. That was a house clearing.
Yeah, that was a house clearing. That was a house. This one was just, I had sent Zach and the guys there because this house had gotten so dark because of the dark history. And whenever there's severe addiction problems involved, dark stuff gets really in. But no, when I show up, I cleared the house yesterday. I've cleared everything from the biggest house in LA, the Spelling Mansion, to where Phil Spector was killed, to the tiniest little apartment. I cleared a office yesterday, a lot of agents' offices, lawyers' offices, because energy, we take the time to dust our house, we paint our house, but the energy is just as important and speaks just as loudly as everything else. And so many people don't get that. It's really easy to do and anyone can do it. You just have to be aware of it.
Wow. So you do house cleanings, you do spiritual guidance, you do rituals and magical spells and seances, and you communicate with the dearly departed. So these are all the services that you offer. And so people can get in touch with you via your website and your Instagram as well, because you have many socials. Yeah, there's your
many
website.
Socials. Thank you. Yeah. There's my website. And from my website, you can get to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Make sure it's a real me. Sadly, in this crazy day, like yesterday, another fake me popped up.
No
I will
way.
never solicit you. I will never solicit people and tell them they need a reading.
Right.
I will never go ask them for their credit card. You signed up on my website. People. But yeah, I'm really easy to find. My phone number's right there. I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm easy to find. And you can make appointments right on my website for all sorts of things, not seances and stuff. And I teach really inexpensively, 2 classes a week on Zoom. So you could be anywhere. It's great. When I'm starting a class, I get to go good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Yes.
Because everybody's everywhere.
Yeah. We have a question from Sonia. Do certain people have bad karma and why?
See, people can live into their bad karma. Karma is more what you create. Again, just like that cause and effect and action and reaction, where there's destiny and there's fate. Again, we were born with a certain destiny or fate. But the thing that's magic about it is that we were given free will by God, the universe, higher power, whatever you want to use. That free will can trump what destiny is fated. Not completely. You can't, I want to be a foot taller. I want to fly without an airplane. But when we do shift fate, when we do shift with a natural trajectory of thing, which is everything goes the easy thing. Water runs downhill. There's gravity. The natural, if you just go along and follow thing, it's going to go easy. If you go, no, I want to climb this mountain, then you're changing fate. So just to do that, you have to be very careful. Here's my best way of karma. What's the difference in a good witch and a not good witch? Say water is on the top of the mountain and it runs down the hill and it feeds the whole village, and the village thrives because you need money to thrive. You have a house on top of the hill too, but it's down a ways and you don't have water. Witchcraft or spellcrafting or manifestation or whatever you want to call it, shaman, would be build a dam and put some pipes in and take the water. Take the water so you have beautiful water. Now, if you take all the water and the villagers don't get any, that's bad karma. And what creates bad karma is either they all die and whatever, or they get really mad and they come up and kill you. That's bad karma. Now, if you build a dam and you take water, and you take a lot of water, you take all the water you want, you have water features, you have a pool, you have a jacuzzi, but you leave the villagers all the water they want too, there's no bad karma attached to it. Everybody lives happily ever after in that. So again, that's why you don't put what you put out, you get back. That's what karma is. And doing, whether it's in the moment or not, you litter. So somebody litters on your house. It's not necessarily always direct, but it's energy. Everything, you can't kill energy. You can't kill anything. So what you put out, you get back.
Yeah, exactly. So Pax Management, who is actually Jenny, I truly believe that energy vampires, so many out there, need great forces to combat these types of people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you do, but it's actually, you don't need great forces. You need a little bit of awareness and magic. In my book, I have a thing. It's called protection magic, not from ghosts and stuff. That's in here too, or spirits or bad energy, but from those energy vampires, whether on purpose or not. I teach people to put a ring of mirror around them, mirror on the outside. Again, remember, nothing solid. This isn't solid. Nothing solid. That's 7th grade science. We know that's moving atoms. We're moving atoms. So what we can't see is just as real as what we can. So if you picture this beautiful mirrored egg right around you, mirror on the outside, whatever you want on the inside, and that you put the attribute in that nothing negative gets in. It just bounces right off. Just bounce it right off. So if people are purposely sucking energy, sometimes they do it by accident, those needy people. But if they're doing it on purpose and you put a mirror instead of titanium or steel or cement, imaginary mirror, they're going to actually see how ugly they look doing that. They're going to see how unattractive they look throwing shade at you, and guess what? Because it's mirror, it's going to kind of bounce back a little and just not hurt them, but sting a little. And the best yet, they're going to kind of see through that mirror and see it didn't affect you at all. You're sitting there going, love and light, love and light. You don't even have to send them bad energy at all. You are protected. So they don't even get the payoff of upsetting you or making you angry or draining your energy. So next time they won't throw so hard. The next time they won't throw at all. So again, purposely imaginary mirror around you. And I throw light through my body. You can practice it and you will be amazed. Like, again, we're just getting back into the real world. But like in a crowded elevator or something that there's a bunch of people, you don't know each other. No one's throwing you shade. Say you're all stuffed in like sardines in an elevator. Put this mirror around you and people, they will kind of see it. They will smile and step back because they're seeing their own reflection. So they look pretty. They'll smile and step back. And if they can't step back, if you really are sardined into a thing, all of a sudden your personal space isn't being invaded. You could do it at a concert. You could do it wherever. People can't drain your energy. The good stuff all gets in. Everything gets in. Again, we set up our intention. Intention is everything. Yeah. And it works.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've also heard you talk a lot about the Age of Aquarius and that you say that we're coming into the Age of Aquarius. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, and I'm not an astrologer. I have to always preface that. No, it is a new age. We understand the difference of signs. Leo, a Libra, Aquarius, Cancers are loving and home-like and whatever they are. We've been in an earth base for a long, 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 long time. So our parents' world and grandparents' world of black and white and right and wrong and solid ground and yes and no, that's what it was. Now we're stepping into this Age of Aquarius. It's air-based. It's like this. Right. There is not solid ground. There's not basic yes and no and right and wrong. We've got to be able to float like this. So I believe it's going to be a much more creative time, less materialistic, because earth-based, more materialistic. Yes, we're still going to be materialistic, but it's not going to be less about the handbag we have, but experiential. Creativity, I think, is going to soar. I think science is going to soar. Spirituality in any kind of form or magic is going to soar. All the right brain stuff is going to take over because that's getting into the air-based. It's pretty cool. So again, and I think the pandemic kind of pushed all things along as going into it. That was a big wake up call. Yes, like, go to your room and figure out what's important. Exactly. Literally.
Exactly. I agree. Oh, so we have a question from Sarah. How do you know if you have the gift? What are some signs?
Well, again, there's knowing when something's going to happen, feeling something behind you. Wait, I think I better call my mom right now. Maybe something's wrong. Or you could practice all sorts of ways, like what song's going to come next on the radio. I think we're all born with it.
Yes.
And we can develop it. I actually teaching a class on divination when we get off this radio show. But we all have it. Most of it, it's left brain, right brain. Our left reasoning, rational brain has nothing to do with our gift, not being our psychic ability, our mediumship ability. That's logic. That's the world we live in. This right brain, the artistic, creative, intuitive, spiritual side, that's where the gift lies. So it's learning to dance between the two. You have to shut down the logical brain for a few minutes. That's why I say be childlike and not childish. In witchcraft, we literally lay down our broom, our witch's broom, which is my mini broom, my bar. On this side of the world is the mundane world where you pay your bills and you go to work. This side, magic happens and you could talk to spirits. And the more you separate the two. So if you have this thought like, oh, I feel grandma's perfume. Grandma's standing beside me right now. That's your right brain, creative brain, your intuition. If you go, oh, that doesn't make sense. She's been dead for 5 years. Or, oh, somebody just opened the window. You just shut it down. So if you really want to develop your gift, go, okay, hi, grandma, you're there. I'm feeling you're there. I'm feeling you there. Do you have a message for me? Whether you hear it with your outside voice or hear it with your inside voice. All the clairs, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, you might smell it. You might taste it. It might just be a knowing. It might be a feeling. They're all equally legitimate. it. So, and then if you want to really analyze it, wait 2 hours. In 2 hours, if you want to go, was grandma really standing behind me, or did somebody open a window and that indigestion from whatever? Then you can. But in those moments, the more you could say yes to the magic of things, the more it'll develop. So you have to get out of your own way. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it the ability or to have very high intuition versus having the gift? How can you distinguish between the two?
There isn't. There's no decision. Intuition is part of the gift. You know, there's different kinds of the gift. Like the psychic ability is kind of foreseeing paths and possibilities. I don't believe anybody can see a complete future because we have free will. Because you walk outside, you know, a bird's going to drop on your head. I know when the bird's going to fly over. I know when you're going to walk outside. But because we have free will, you don't walk outside, the bird doesn't drop on your head. That's that easy. So you could say the path you're taking is like this. You're going to have 2 more husbands because you had 2 husbands before, because this is why you pick bad men. But you could say you don't have to have 2 more husbands. You could hold off for the good one, because let's look at the pattern of why you have that. That's what a good psychic will do. You know, it could happen, and you don't want that to happen. You can make it not happen because we have free will. Yeah. And then the mediumship, that's looking to the other side. That's being able to talk to spirits, deceased loved ones, you know, angels, elementals, fairies, and all those funny magical things that live out there.
So when you conduct a seance, what are some of the common questions that people have for their dearly departed? What are some of the things you come across?
Mostly is they're always sorry. I was sorry I wasn't there when you were dead. I'm sorry that I didn't get to see you. And one thing about deceased people, they're fine, and they're not completely, they're not evolved now, they don't become angelic, but they do get a higher perspective. So it's like, oh, they don't care that you didn't make it in time. They know you love them. So it's like the dead people are going, you have nothing to apologize for. I mean, every once in a while we do certainly get things, where'd you hide the will? Where'd you hide the jewelry? And that's good. I mean, I've literally got an iPhone code from a spirit. This young guy passed with disease, and there's his young wife and there's his little kid with their iPhone, and they didn't know the code with thousands of pictures on there. And that was funny. It was a couple of years ago. It was about the same time that it made the news. The FBI wanted Apple to give them the code for an iPhone, and Apple won't do it. Won't do it. It's like, well, they should have used a Ouija board and talked to a medium. I gave them the iPhone. They opened up. They had the pictures. The spirit gave it to him. He wanted them to have it. But now I can't, and maybe because I believe you can't, because again, we create our own reality. I don't think spirits are going to give you the lottery number, because that's not what the gift is about. So everybody's like, can you do the lottery? It's like, no, I don't think that's why we have the gift. So that's not the gift we're going to get.
That's right. That's right. You know, when I was a kid, we used to play with the Ouija board. And I always was wondering how it worked, because we would feel it move and no one was pushing it. So how do you explain that?
It's because you're tapping in. It's a tool. It's a tool, just like my dowsing rods. We were just talking about that.
Yes.
Oh, it's important. It's, you know, it gets I don't think it should be sold in toy stores. I don't think
it's true.
I think it should have a completely different set of it. This is not a toy, not this is a toy, because it's a portal, it's a window. But so is anybody who reads tarot cards, so is anybody who plays with a pendulum, so is anybody, are no different than a Ouija board. It's a tool you use to step out of your left brain, out of your reasoning, rational brain, and be able to communicate with spirits. So again, you open it, if you do it correctly, it's fine. You don't want to say, open up, anybody out there, any spirits out there. Really? Are you going to let anybody into your home? You know, the crazy person, the serial killer, come on in, give me your wisdom. Maybe they don't have wisdom. Maybe they're evil. Maybe they're the serial killer. Be very careful who you allow in. Good and light spirits, people attached to me, my ancestors, my loved ones, my guides. And then you're not going to have any trouble. Just like this, dowsing rods. I can't control them. You could find water in the desert with these. I take them on investigations. They show portals and things for divination, just like what's going to happen. They cross on yes, not on no.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Is Patti in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes. So like, are you
And you're just holding it. You're just holding
I'm just
it. You're
holding
not-
it. I'm not touching. I can't, what I'm touching doesn't have anything touch this. It's a bar in the middle. Like I can't go cross. It just does what it wants. Like you are sitting in my home in the Hollywood Hills. No, we are talking to each other electronically. Yes. You are wearing Easter Bunny ears. No, it just works across the board like that. Because it's tapping into spirit, it's tapping into energy. Like I said, this world is just as real and just as solid as ours. But us in our modern Western non-mystical world, we've made logic more important than the mystery of life. And even our religion isn't very mystical anymore. It's like, that's your imagination, that's this. But the other world is just as real, and it's magical. And I think we need both.
Yes, we have another question from PAX Management. So spirits don't mostly see the future and are just open to seeing what happened in their, I guess, past?
Or present?
Or present, yes.
Spirits, again, not that they're unless you're going to a higher vibrational entity, ascended masters, angelic things, then they can see the possible future, probable future, unless how high you go up and you're getting into deity of whatever. But they're going to give you their perception of it. But you can get wisdom but you know who you're talking to. The person who says it's your grandma may be the drunken guy on the corner. You don't feel like grandma. If something feels wrong, it probably is. That's why you have to be very specific of who you allow in. This is our realm of existence. I've known that since I was 3 or 4. I just knew their realm, maybe they are in charge. This realm, we are. Nothing can hurt us unless we allow it. And we have the power unless we give it away. But getting back the power thing, most people give it away. They don't know. When you see the people getting all possessed on TV and whatever, they've allowed that to happen because they didn't know better to give it away. Unless you have a severe addiction problem or severe mental imbalance, that causes something else that can open up to dark things. It really does. But just for regular folks or close to regular folks, it's our world. If something negative, if something positive comes in, talk to it. Hi, are you human? Are you male? Are you female? Are you elemental? Are you a tree spirit? Are you fairy? You know, what are you? Are you an angel? And if it feels bad, go get out. You are not welcome here. In the name of whoever, whatever you believe in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, in the name of your cat, in the name of your Louboutin shoes, whatever, in the name of my higher self. You have to say it with authority, no anger. It wants you to get angry, something negative. So you don't want to yell at it, just like the TV shows used to do. No fear. It wants you to get fearful. It'll feed off. So just try to be the very like a disciplinarian parent. And guess what? You're in control.
So what about that phenomenon of sleep paralysis versus an actual spirit visiting you? And I know I've experienced it. I know I have several family members who have experienced it. We talked about this earlier. So what do you believe that is? Is there such a thing as sleep paralysis, or is it a being visiting us?
It's both. Sleep paralysis is a real medical condition. It sometimes happens on waking. You can't move, but your mind is working. And it is also a thing held down by spirits. Whether it's, and oftentimes that sleep paralysis leads to a sexual experience, which is ghost sex, or it's known as spectrophilia.
I like that. Yeah.
Spectrophilia is the official name. And it's been around, spectrophilia. It's been around forever and ever. It's written about in every religion, every history. And usually it gets the negative connotation, like the incubus and the succubus and the demon who comes down. But the good side of it is just as real. If you don't believe in ghosts, fine. But if you do believe in ghosts, and you believe that beautiful grandma can come down and hold your hand while you're sick and watch out for your babies, why would your deceased husband or whatever who died, your great lover, come down and not be able to be intimate? With intimacy, which is such an integral part of the human experience, why all of a sudden, it's off limits once you're dead? It never has been. So again, the negative side always gets the press, as like with the news. But I did one movie with the Travel Channel called Ghostly Lovers, and it was the positive side.
Really?
Older woman who had passed away. No, her husband passed away. She was fine. And he came to visit her, and it was like, closure. My best friend Diane, her husband died, again, very young, of a cancer. And all of a sudden she's laying in bed and she felt what his exact like foreplay was. They did this kind of spooning thing, and they had this little pattern that they
Wow.
did, and she was feeling it all, and it was my best friend, and it's real. So the movie we did, Ghostly Lovers, beautiful little, almost like a Hallmark movie of the good size of that kind of. And it was 3 different stories or 4 different stories. And I was one of the experts on it. You know, when the playing field is really little, I'm considered an international expert on spectrophilia.
Yes.
And it's good when they do that, because there's so many people who have experienced it, and they think, am I crazy? Am I possessed? Am I devil possessed? No, none of the above. Because it's, again, going back to our prudish, non-mystical society, where sex is off limits to talk about, ghosts are off limit. Put the 2 together. Oh God, you can't talk about that. So these people sitting at home going, there's no one I can talk to. People will think I'm insane. So it's good when it gets out there, you know, and so much of it, again, is still the sense. Last year, there was some woman in England, you know, marrying a ghost, wanting to marry a ghost. No,
I didn't hear that one. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She wanted to have a baby by a ghost. I'm like, I don't think that'll work. So again, the sensationalist stuff gets suppressed, but the other stuff, it has some points that are really good. I don't think it should ever be a long-term relationship. Talk about, you know, geographically undesirable. They don't even live on the same plane of existence as you. You can't take them home for the holidays. They can't take you out to dinner. But sometimes, again, in the deceased lover, the loved one who comes back for closure, or I've had it a few times when women, usually women, but it could be men too, they've lost their sense of sensuality. They've lost their sense of self. They don't date. They don't even think that they have it in them. Sometimes, again, a spirit lover to start them out, and they go, oh, I am sensual. I have a sexual being. I can have this. And then I urge them on to human living people, because again, it's geographically undesirable to keep that too long.
Yes. So Pamela has is it a question, or she just wants to let you know that the pictures in my home always are crooked, no matter how many times I straighten them. Dimes drop off from nowhere. It's amazing. What do you have to say about that?
Dimes are a big one. My cousin Gary,
Really?
he get guess for spirit. Pennies often are for some spirits, like pennies, because it's copper, and that's also very much fairy realm. Dimes are very much a spirit, and the crooked, they can move energy. Just I have the ghost in my house takes pictures out of frame. She doesn't make them a little bit crooked. She takes the pictures out where they're sealed up, and there's no logical way they can be taken out, but she's good at that. You know, I've had things fly across the room. It's energy. It's hard to move big things. It is hard. That takes a lot out of them, but you want to practice seeing spirits move. Light a candle. If you're working with a spirit, invite in good spirits, light spirits. Okay, grandma, make the candle dance. You'll be surprised she can. You know, make the incense waft to the right instead of the left when it's not a window being open.
So Teresa saying, being kind, giving, hardworking, however, seems to attract problems, negativity more often than positive events. Why?
That's not true in my world. Being kind, giving, hardworking attracts problems. I hope that's not just a belief system that we create our own belief systems. I think, in my experience, in my truth that I've created, being giving kind and giving and hardworking is what you're going to get back. Maybe you put too much hardworking. Maybe you think that has to be something. I think life attracts problems, and it's how we solve them. Like I said, you can't control everything, but you can control how you react to it. I'm a big believer of the basic psychology of mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
We'll never surpass what we think. We'll never. Exactly that thought. Being kind is going to give you a problem. Guess what? You create that. It's always going to give you problems until you change that thought pattern. That's manifestation. That's psychology. Mind, body. We have to take action. We do. You can't sit on the couch and get healthy or do whatever. The spirit, that's the part most people miss. And because it's not tangible, but that's actually the battery that makes it happen. That's the engine. So you could do it lots of ways, through your belief system, through prayer, through your church, temple, that faith to make it happen. I want this. Or you could do it new age, affirmations, vision boards, over and I want this, and make it easy. Or you could do what I would do, a spell working, burning herbs and oils and working with candles and sounds and elements. So whatever, when you have it, the mind, you believe it, you're taking action of some form in the spirit, you get it. You could go through everything in your life right now. The things you've accomplished, you've believed it, you've taken action and had some form of magic or faith or spirit behind it. The things you haven't quite made happen, you just maybe need to tweak one or two. You don't really believe it, or maybe you don't really believe you deserve it, or you've just sat on your butt, haven't move it action.
Oh, Sonia's asking, is there help for the elderly who see things?
You can if they see things, because they are seeing things, which is often, even with a lot of people with mental illnesses, they're seeing through the veil. You can learn an on-off switch. I do. That's my saving grace. Since I've been doing this since I was a kid, I look at it like an old-fashioned light switch. On is on, off is off. On is on. And then you can go to the grocery store without having to dog people. You could help with older people to turn it off. Now, if it's not just that they're seeing through the other side, that it's
and that's the veil you're referring to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, through the veil. Okay. If they're seeing things, because it's getting into Alzheimer's and dementia and things, I still think that we're powerful beings. We could help some, but that's more of a medical issue. But maybe they're getting close to crossing over. So many people, as they start seeing through the veil and going back and forth. I see so many people in hospitals that getting ready to pass. I can see they're in their body right now. Ooh, they're in the other world. They're coming back. Maybe they're making that decision.
And so that idea when you're close to passing, or when you do that, you see your loved ones. So is that part of it? Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. My dad is here. My husband's here. Are here.
Yes. And you hear them calling out for them. So Teresa says, I find dimes everywhere. Been a few months, haven't found, but I find them. That's so interesting.
Yeah. So again, ask whoever to say, hey, whoever that is, give me more of, find out who's giving him to you. Is it just the universe? Is it, angels? Is it somebody specific?
So how do you know if there's a spirit in your home? How would one find out?
Well, of course, if things are moving, the obvious pictures kind of thing, but also, again, you smell. Wow, that was grandma's perfume.
Right.
All those Claire. Wow. And it might be the real smell, or it might be the in your mind smell, just like you might really see, or it might be in your mind see. You might hear things, the creaks, you might really hear any of those are valid. And on the negative side of that, positive or negative, on the negative side of things, if you have a lot of crankiness, if you have a lot of lack of creativity, if in one section of the house, it's like, we fight all the time here, clear your house.
Wow.
It may or may not be a ghost. It might be something you've created, like what a poltergeist is, a self-created thing, an egregore, a servitor. We create that energy stuff. So just clear it out.
My goodness. Yes. So Patti, what does the future hold for you?
I don't know. Travel is coming in, all sorts of things. It's all sorts of great things. Again, my podcast is going great. I love working with my YouTubers, with my TFIL boys. If anybody likes the ghosty thing, do TFIL, and they have an overnight channel. The most amazing paranormal stuff I've ever experienced. Still working with Zach Bagans and the guys on Ghost Adventures. Have a new one that should be coming out. And travel is, again, I'm starting to do events, live events. I just got back from Vegas this weekend. I'm going to Northern California this week. I've done a lot of in the States travel this year. And then next year, my international travel starts again. I've got a haunted tour of Ireland castles from Game of Thrones, if anybody's interested in Game of Thrones. And then as soon as I get back from that, for Bram Stoker's 125th, we're doing castles of Romania, Dracula's castles and all that. So if you like that sort of Dracula thing, yes, we do. And I've got events all over, different kinds, spiritual conventions, full your life self-help stuff, to the paranormal stuff, to everything in between.
Well, I hope that you come and visit us here in Montreal. That would be amazing.
I would love to. I would love to.
Thank you so much, Patti. You've been an absolute dream. I'm so happy that you were my final episode for the season. It's like going out with a bang, and you've been just amazing. Thank you so much. And I hope to have you back next season.
I would love to.
More. I have like pages and pages of questions. I think I got through like 2 of them. So and I could see that the audience had a ton of questions as well. So we would love to have you back.
I would love to be back. You're a great host, and thank you for what you're doing for everybody. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. What a fabulous show. We will be back late August, early September. This has been an amazing season. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to all the wonderful guests. And we'll see you in a few months. Bye for now.